How's Judy?
Good.
Missing the grandkids?
Yeah, we FaceTimed with them a couple times over the weekend.
We FaceTime. Yeah. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You FaceTiming?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
all the time.
She's sick. She just said hi, and then she was gone. And she finally got back on there with us, but we talked to our son and daughter-in-law. So
My family has told me no more grocery stores. Stay out of them. I can do the pickup so I can pull up out front.
yeah, my son works for FedEx, so he's been going to work every day. I mean, he says it's like Christmas.
Yeah.
Everybody's ordering online. That's what concerns me about our business.
Sure. It'll come back. We're in a strong economy.
Oh, I know, but
We good? All right. Hey, good morning, and thank you for joining us this Monday. Make a few introductions as to our guests today. We are honored to have the President and CEO of the Decatur Morgan County Chamber of Commerce, John Seymour. John, thank you for being here.
Sure, thank you
Yes,
for
sir.
having us.
Of course, our chamber represents our business community, and John will be speaking on those some of the news that related to our business community. So we certainly appreciate that. Then we're honored to have Morgan County Commission Chairman Ray Long with us, and Chairman Long will speak on some of the things that's happening in our county. And then today we're also honored to have with us Kelly Halbrooks, who is serving as our signer, and we're just very, very thankful for that. So just a few municipal updates. We have 17 reported cases as of this meeting here in Morgan County. As for our, I have received a report from the hospital. One patient is still in the hospital. The return on results are faster, and a smaller percentage of our residents are waiting on test results. And then Decatur Morgan Hospital is still okay when it comes to PPE, and would encourage you to continue to practice distancing protocols, and a no visitation policy is still in place at the hospital. As far as parks and recs, our parks are open and where our residents are able to get out and walk and enjoy the many parks that we have throughout the center of the city. However, our playgrounds and basketball courts are closed. That would include our outdoor courts. 10 people max at any non-work gathering, event or gathering. And of course, continue to practice the 6 feet apart. Remember, in our last visit, we talked about if someone's not doing that, just kind of give them a smile and encourage them to separate. All work gatherings must maintain a 6 feet distancing, and then do your best to stay inside for the next 2 weeks to keep the spread of COVID-19 down. The Alabama Department of Public Health updated order of social distancing restrictions by the state, which has moved things back to April the 17th. So support your small businesses, our small businesses, with takeout orders, deliveries, purchasing of gift cards, things of that nature. Just ways that we can continue to support our small businesses. Essential workers and businesses from the health order. We've received a lot of questions over that. Continue to visit the Alabama Department of Public Health website for clarification. City Hall is open, but by appointment only. And so visit DecaturAlabamaUSA.com for phone numbers of departments that you may need to do business with. We find that oftentimes whenever you contact these departments, we're able to handle your business over the phone, and things work out well there. Garbage routes continue as normal. Of course, we've already mentioned that our recycling center is closed. I think the better way to say that would be suspended during this time. Then we want to just bring your attention to the fact that there's some COVID-19 scams that are happening nationwide. Never give your information to anyone over the phone or by email. If you have any questions concerning the scam, please call the Decatur Police Department at 256-341-4600 for guideline concerning scams. And you can also visit fcc.gov/COVID-scams. That's fcc.gov/COVID-scams. One last note, we have created an email address group for anyone who would like to ask questions at a work session or an item on the agenda. And so that email address for the work session that will take place tonight at 5 o'clock is councilquestions@decatur-al.gov. Council, as in city council, questions at decatur-al.gov. And that's all that I have, other than I believe Mr. Seymour will end up addressing the part about business assistance and such. So with that, Chairman Long, if you will, provide us an update from the county.
All right, thank you very much. As the mayor said, we're still operating over at the courthouse, and the courthouse actually closed to the public, but all the offices are open. And you know, if you have any issues, any business you need, feel free to call. You can go to Morgan County Commission website, and it has a list of all the agencies there with the numbers for you to call them. Something we done last week that should help our citizens a lot is we suspended not only the mail tag fees, that's $2, but we also suspended the credit card fees. If you order online, you know, we have a third party that you go through to get your tags with a credit card or a debit card. We suspended those fees. So now you can order your tags. It just costs you what the tag normally would cost you, and get it mailed back out to you and keep you from having a late tag. Of course, we've moved the deadline for the tags. If you don't buy it that way, they're not going to get you in trouble if you're a month late on that. But we would encourage people to order it online or you know, and call and let us just mail it to you, and that way you'll be up to date. Also, the environmental service or garbage service out in the county, we're still running as normal. We've never let up there. As the mayor said, the recycling, we have had to suspend that. All of our trailers was pretty much full, so we've taken all of them out of the county area and brought them to the shop. So be no recycling until further notice on that. Our park and recs, we have closed all of our parks. You know, ours is scattered out so much, it's just hard to keep up when somebody's there or not, so we've just closed all of the county parks until further notice. Appreciate nobody going there. We've had a few instances where we've had to go and ask people to leave because there'd be a crowd thinking, well, nobody's there, we can get on it. But you know, this COVID-19 is serious, and we really need to keep people away from each other, and you know, you can't really have a good ball game and practice the 6 feet. So we really encourage people not to go to our parks or just work with us on that right now while we're closed on that. We had a courthouse employee, I think everybody knows that was tested a few weeks ago now, come back negative, so we still good with the courthouse employees. Nobody has contacted that disease yet there. Only one employee has been tested, so everything else is going. Like I say, use the phones, call us if you need us. We're there, Mayor, just like y'all are, and trying to make the best of this thing while we can. You know, we know it's going to stretch on for a while. It's not going to end this week or next week, so let's all continue to work together and keep our distance and use the phones all we can.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Seymour.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. I think it's important to understand that the public and private sectors are working together. This is a good example of that. And I appreciate the mayor and the chairman being our good partners at the chamber. You know, we have a public health issue that's impacting private business. And so it's important to understand how public and private sectors are both involved in this and work together. Our staff's working remotely, most of them from home, and we're coming in and out of the office as little as necessary. But during that time, we're connected to different webinars. Our entire staff is working on webinars, listening to webinars from chambers all over the country. We're hooked into a network of chambers of commerce across the country that's over 20 chambers involved in that, and we can do 1 or 2 emails and get 5 or 6 responses from folks all over the country, everybody from Daytona, Florida to Oregon. And so we have the opportunity to kind of see what's going on in the rest of the country, pick up ideas from what other chambers are doing to help their local business community, and we're able to put some of those things into place. We've been doing that on a consistent basis. You know, the chamber is made up of 900 members, and it's a whole variety of businesses, from large manufacturing to small mom and pop kinds of retail establishments, to restaurants, to retail services, to attorneys, to CPA firms. So there's a variety of business here that's impacted. All of them have different needs during this time. And so it's important for us to have those resources available. And through our website, we've been able to put links on there to the Small Business Administration, the Department of Labor, the U.S. Chamber, NARCOG, Alabama Department of Revenue, the Governor's Office, the Center for Disease Control, United Way 211, the Business Council of Alabama. All those links are on our website at the Chamber, dcc.org, and you can go on there and find out something that may be specific to your type of business. I know we're talking about unemployment for large manufacturers. We're talking about closing some of the small businesses. One of the things I think we can do for the small business is we can buy gift cards. We can do takeout food. We can do online ordering from some of those businesses, and we can buy gift cards. And that way, that business receives that cash at the time, at the point of contact, and those cards can be redeemed at a later date. We're currently getting ready to work on an economic recovery package that we will use with our businesses when we come out of this on the other side. So again, I want to thank the mayor for having the opportunity to be here and talk a little bit about what we're doing in the business community to support our local businesses. Shop local.
Thank you, John.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And that website again for the Decatur Chamber of Commerce, dcc.org. And you heard John mention all the valuable information that's available for our business owners. Of course, we're thankful that the stimulus package did pass from our Congress, and the assistance that will be coming to our residents in the coming weeks. So with that, our next press conference is scheduled for Wednesday, April the 1st at 10 o'clock. And so now we'll take a few questions.
I need you guys to answer this. There's people that are testing positive for COVID-19 that are showing no symptoms at all. Does that concern you guys as leaders of our community?
It does, because, you know, you like to see symptoms if you're going to, because you can run into anybody that don't have, of course, you know, the symptoms are coming later. So, you know, it is scary because you don't know, but you know, you still have to use caution, keep your hands clean, stay your distance and stuff. That's all you can do. I mean, you just don't know.
I think we would all agree with that.
Yep.
Mayor, do you have any plans to close the city parks anytime soon? Because, I mean, just like county parks, people get close to each other, and I know people have to be outside, but is that a worry for you?
It's not as long as maintaining the guidelines as established by Alabama Governor Ivey and the Alabama Department of Public Health. Our police department is monitoring those things whenever they see that's gatherings where they're not practicing distancing of 6 feet. But we certainly don't want to go to that point. We want to be able to allow our residents the opportunity to be able to get out and exercise. And the only thing right now, just from a personal standpoint, I don't handle the pollen very well. And I don't want the pollen to get me where I'm congested and such, and maybe give me false signals as to which ones that bother me the most. So.
I was just going to follow up with your question. It doesn't concern you that kids that have possibly been exposed are playing on a park that contains those virus droplets, and then another kid comes in and plays at the park?
Well, so again, our playgrounds are closed,
Okay,
okay?
so equipment at, Rhodes Ferry, everything like that's closed.
Playgrounds are closed. Our walking paths, open space, but the playgrounds are closed.
Are there signs up?
They're working on putting up signs today. Whether or not they will, great question, Jenna. So working on getting signs made, especially for our basketball courts and our playgrounds. The wording on that, and then the time to make the signs, but they'll go up, okay? May not go up today, but getting it done, working on it.
So how are you policing that? You said Decatur police are going, if people are gathering, what can they do other than just tell people to separate? Is that all? That's
it, and just what we're seeing, we have 17 reported cases in Morgan County. I've said this in every conference that I've been a part of. I'm very proud of our residents. I think our residents are responding in a very positive way. They do not want to become ill, and so with that, we're seeing favorable results because of that. So anyway, we just believe people will be responsible. But then there's a thing that most of our residents respect our police department. And whenever they're given an instruction, they're going to listen. Okay?
Well,
golf courses?
Golf courses. Goodness gracious. Now, that's where I really get a lot of calls. But the Point Matter Golf Course is closed. Trying to find a way, if possible, to may possibly open that. Concerns there, or to be able to receive money from a guest that comes in, anything that would, there's going to be some type of engagement there. Our employees are a priority as far as their health. And then, of course, cleaning bathrooms, those things. So we know that, I know there's people listening and saying, well, they can wear gloves. Well, yes, we can, but this is just some things we don't need to take chances with.
For Commissioner Ray Long, how are you guys enforcing in the county if you guys find people at parks? Is there penalties or anything right now?
Well, we've only found a few cases where people have been, and when they ask to leave, they leave. As the mayor said, law enforcement's riding around, and it's kind of a bad situation. That if they didn't leave, they can't write them a citation. There's no citation right. They actually have to arrest them, and so nobody wants that. I mean, people are respectful. I mean, you get a group, 3 or 4 or 5, go out and try to play a quick game of basketball. When they're told they really can't do that, they need to leave. They've been real respectful, and that's, as the mayor said, our people's really been great with this. I mean, they understand, but you got kids out of school and they're looking for things to do. It's hard for a teenager to realize that he's doing something wrong when he gets a group of buddies to go play a game of basketball. But during this crisis, it's just hard to tell them that they shouldn't do that. But really, everybody that's involved in this thing, trying to keep the spread, is asking people not to get together like that.
So I want to come back and just elaborate a little more on the question that you asked as far as enforcement. Police will educate the citizens about the new health orders. That'll be the first. Next will be a verbal warning. And if this progresses, a citation would be issued. If the action continues, an arrest will be made.
This is for Chairman Long or Mayor Bowling. 10 days ago, we had 0 cases in Morgan County, and now we have 17. That's more than one a day, realistically, if you're looking at the map. So my question is, at what point is it going to be serious enough or have, enough cases that a shelter is put in place? I know that Governor Ivey can order one for the entire state. However, there's counties, like in Tuscaloosa, where the mayor, made not a shelter in place, but basically that without using that language. So my question is, at what point do you go there?
I don't think there's really a point, there's a certain number. We looking at, 17, we got a county of 120,000 people. And so far, only 17 has tested positive. So I think our ratio is pretty good. I think people are taking advantage of things that we're asking to keep their distance, keep their hands clean, you know, if they cough. And so, you know, 17, I don't think is a big number for a county our size. Now, when we get up to, and the mayor can elaborate on it, we get up to, you know, 50, 60 or so, you know, if it keeps rising like it, then I think we'll have to come back and reevaluate. But I still think right now, we got to trust our people to do what's right.
So as I understand it, we don't have local authority. And as the supplemental third order came out Friday from Governor Ivey, I think there was language in there that clearly stated that it supersedes that was provided by some other municipalities. So the state has the authority. The wonderful news, as mentioned by the chairman, is I was on 3 conference calls last week with Governor Ivey and key cabinet members, as well as mayors of the Alabama's largest 10 cities. Governor Ivey and the cabinet members and the Alabama Department of Public Health, they're listening to municipalities. And they're keeping up with the data that you're asking about. And I have all the confidence in the world that they're going to do what's best for the residents of Decatur and Morgan County.
Do you have a plan in place if there was to be a death due to COVID-19
A death?
in your county?
Well, would take care of that individual, but I don't think there would be any change right now as it relates to a death. Certainly hope that doesn't happen.
Over the weekend, Alabama Department of Public Health reported 1 death in Morgan County, and they've since taken it off.
You know, that's something they seem to struggle with, is how to determine, confirm how that death occurred. Yeah.
You've had any contact with Alabama Department of Public Health on that death?
No, no, I haven't. Yeah. Now, as of course you recall that last week, the Judy Smith, administrator for this district with the Alabama Department of Health, joined us. She did a wonderful job of sharing information about how that process works. So just I would encourage viewers to maybe go back and review that.
I have a question for John. Last week, you guys announced small business assistance. I talked with Grant about how the chamber was kind of leading this for businesses in the community. How many people have you heard from since you guys kind of started rolling out assistance?
Probably a dozen or so. A couple of times I've been on a conference call with Jeremy Nails at Morgan County Economic Development. We've talked together with a manufacturer, trying to find out if they were qualified as an essential business. Questions like that. But the local, and I've talked to 2 retailers yesterday about their business and their curbside kind of business. And so I kind of went out and drove around the community yesterday and saw where a lot of the restaurants have tents up in the parking lot and things like that. And they've reacted to this creatively and created some opportunities for people to pick up their food at these tents, which is away from the building and isolated. People don't get out of their cars. We've encouraged people to do more than one thing when you leave the house. The other day I drove through my pharmacy and picked up a prescription and then went by and picked up lunch at a drive-through. So you can do more than one thing when you get out like that and kind of plan your day a little more than running out 3 or 4 times. So, but to answer your question, we've had very few responses. I think the direction and the message has been pretty clear about how this works. I looked at the governor's list of essential businesses and so on. It's pretty clear. There's a few gray areas, but for the most part, pretty clear.
So with non-essential businesses closing, do you expect more people? I mean, they just closed, Saturday at 5 p.m.
Yeah.
It hasn't been that much time, but do you expect to see an increase in businesses reaching out to you?
I would say so. They're scared. The ones I talked to are concerned, and they were small business, 3 or 4 employees. And they're concerned about that, and I understand that. We understand that completely. We're going to have to ask everybody to work together on this. So maybe their landlord will be a little more lenient and wait a month or two before they, and give them a break on their rent, those kind of things. We're gonna ask everybody to kind of be partners in this.
And can you talk a little bit about the economic recovery package that you mentioned?
Yeah, we're gonna put together some kind of a plan. We're working a little bit on it now, together on the conference calls and so on, about putting together a shop local campaign, a significant shop local campaign. We've kind of toyed with that from year to year, but big time shop local campaign, gift cards, locally made products, companies that are here in the community that have contributed to our chamber, contributed to the Boys and Girls Club, contributed to the Little League Baseball. We need to pay them back. This is our opportunity to give back to them.
With all these non-essential businesses closing, what have you seen with those owners, that are changing business models overnight, literally just to compensate, to still make some sort of revenue?
Well, like the restaurants, I said, they're out in the parking lot with their tents and that kind of thing, and a lot of people are saying, I had a retailer tell my wife yesterday, if you'll just call me, I'll sit it out on the curb and you can pick it up and you can give me your card on the phone, that kind of thing. So there's ways you can do that kind of thing without having contact. Like the mayor and the chairman say, the contact thing is the way we're going to beat this. And people just need to understand, if we stay in for a while, people get well, then they'll come back to their businesses. If it drags out and drags out and drags out, it's not going to be good for our health, and it's not going to be good for the small businesses either. So
we'll take a couple more questions, and then we'll look forward to visiting with you again on Wednesday.
John, you have truck stops, people worried about the truckers coming in and possibly spreading the COVID-19.
Yeah.
Has the chamber offered any guidance and had any reached out to the truck stops, or have they come to you to ask for guidance?
they have not come to us for that. Trucking is critical to the what we're trying to do now with trying to get products delivered and medical supplies and products for us, groceries, those kind of things. So we've got to make sure we do that. A lot of truckers, I think, can work from the pump, a credit card and the pump, and not even have contact with folks. So, but we have not had any reach out to us that I know of, have we?
Mike, we receive at city level emails from a lot of companies telling us how they're changing the way that they do business and just in best practices. So at the pump, the handling of products, things of that nature that they're trying to get to businesses. Okay, so they're really coaching up their staff because, again, they don't want to spread and they want to be able to deliver the service. One more, John?
Jenna, you asked that question about what we're doing about the recovery package. I've been communicating with about 20 chambers across the country, and they're all coming up with good ideas. Some of them have already started doing surveys of their members, online surveys, to find out their needs and find out how they're addressing certain situations, and we'll be gathering a lot of that information as we develop our plan. So,
Mayor, I have one more question. You had mentioned that there's a smaller percentage of waiting test results. Do you know the number of people who are waiting test results?
No, ma'am, I don't. That was the information that I received in the way that it was stated from Decatur Morgan Hospital leadership. Yeah. One last one.
Do you have a specific protocol for any suspected COVID-19 deaths? I know you said before that you'll deal with it when it happens, but I mean, it kind of does change things. People get more afraid, and it could spread more. So do you have a specific protocol?
Okay, so the Alabama Department of Public Health would define that protocol.
And that's what you're following?
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Mayor, I would like to say before we end this thing, that the theme pretty much is all of us is saying it's going to take everybody working together. This is not something that can be solved by the county, the city, the chamber, or the governor. It's going to take everybody working together to do our part. We all have responsibility during this, and it's to first stay away from people, keep our hands clean, don't get out no more than you have to, and this is something that's going to pass, but it's got to be teamwork. We talked about the parks. If they got a responsibility, they've got to stay away from each other and let this thing go. The drive-throughs at the restaurants is great. We've been using that. But that's what we've got to do. We've got to realize that it's not up to the city and the county and the state to solve this thing. Each individual has a responsibility in this. And so when we work together, that's how this thing's going to be solved.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Kelly, for signing, and we'll see you Wednesday at 10. Thank you.